Hello, David Thornton here. Today I want to show you how to make I call it easy chicken noodle soup. It's really good stuff. Let me go over the ingredients with you. All right, first, I've got right at 2 pounds. This package was a little bit over 2 pounds, like 2.3 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I've taken the thighs and removed just any large pieces of fat off of them. You can use chicken breasts if you like the white meat better. Sometimes I'll use like a couple of breasts and several thighs. Today I'm just using 6 good size boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I really prefer the dark meat over the white meat. Okay, so I got right at 2 pounds of chicken, and I've got 1 medium-sized onion. I've got at least 2 good cloves of garlic. These are kind of small, so I've got 4 kind of small cloves of garlic. I got 1 stick of celery. I've got 2 decent-sized carrots, and I've got 1 8-ounce package of baby Bella mushrooms. Okay, I've got a 32-ounce thing of chicken broth and a 48-ounce container of chicken broth. I've got about a half a package of egg noodles, which is about 3 cups. You need about 3 cups of egg noodles. I've got 1/4 cup of rice. Now, I've already taken the rice and washed it, and you do that by just putting it in a bowl like this, covering it with water, massage it, pour the water off. Cover it with water, massage it, pour the starchy water off. About 3 times. I'll wash this 3 times. It's ready to go. Okay, now I've also got 1 really good teaspoon of dried thyme, and I've got 1 teaspoon of curry powder, and I've got some salt and pepper and a little cayenne to season the meat with before we put it in there. All right, that's all the ingredients. Of course, I got a nice size stock pot here to cook it in, and let me do just a little bit of prep work and we'll be ready to go. All right, I got all the vegetables and the meat prepped, pretty much ready to go. First thing I want to do is season the meat before I put it in the pan. I'm going to put right at a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of salt on there. I'm going to put a good teaspoon of pepper on there, and then a good dash of cayenne, and I want to just work this into the meat just a little bit. It's not a bad idea to do this a little bit ahead of time and let it sit on the meat for a little bit, but we're going to go right at it. It's going to be good either way. All right, my stock pot is warming up, getting ready. I got it on 7. All right, we're going to pour a little bit of vegetable oil. And then we're just going to go ahead and put all our chicken meat in there. All right, we're going to stir and keep an eye on this until the meat gets good and brown, and then we'll put our vegetables in. All right, the chicken's been browning for right at 5 minutes. It's not quite there yet. You can still see just a little bit of pink on the meat in there. So we're going to give it just another couple of minutes. Let that meat get good and brown. And while you're browning it, try to break it up into pieces, smaller pieces, as it's cooking. It's not going to hurt anything. And I've turned the stove up to 8. Just trying to get it to cook a little bit faster, but we're almost there. All right, the chicken's been browning for 8 minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and add our onion and celery at this point. And we just want this to cook for just a couple of minutes and get translucent. You'll notice if you use the thighs kind of have a tendency to make a little bit of their own juice. Now I've still got this turned up to 8. I'm cooking it on 8. It's pretty hot. There's plenty of juice in there from the thighs, so nothing's coming close to burning. And you'll also notice as the meat gets brown and gets ready, it's easier to break up with the spoon. So I cut it up in slices, long slices, to put it in there to start with, but take that spoon and as you're browning it, just break it up into smaller pieces so it's easier to eat. All right, so we're gonna let the vegetables cook in here for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll be ready to throw our mushrooms and carrots in there and put our broth in there and get this rascal going for the 30-minute cook down. All right, now as you can see, the meat is broken up in good bite-sized eaten pieces, and the onions and the celery are well on their way. Just about one more minute and we'll be ready to throw the mushrooms and carrots in. All right, the vegetables and the meat's looking really, really good. We're gonna go ahead and throw our mushrooms, carrots, and garlic in there. And we don't have to really let that cook right now. It's gonna cook down as it continues to sit here and simmer for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna stir that in. All right, now let's go ahead and add all our chicken broth. I've got one 32-ounce. I usually just use 2 of these 32-ounce, but the grocery store was out when I went to get groceries, so you can't really have too much juice, so I say that. Let me see how much this is. Yeah, I'm gonna save about a third of this. Like I said, I usually use 2 quarts, 2 32-ounce jugs, so we're gonna stick with that. All right, let's heat this up to a boil and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a little more salt and a little pepper. And honestly, I think I can use all the juice. By the time we put our noodles and rice in there and it cooks for 30 minutes, it'll be good. All right, we're just gonna bring this to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it and cover it so it'll heat up quicker. All right, I'm gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes. All right, it took me a few minutes to get it to a boil, but I've had it boiling on 5 for 30 minutes. So now we're gonna add the rice first because it takes just a hair longer to cook than the noodles. It's a quarter cup of washed rice. And we're gonna go ahead and put the egg noodles in. All right, we got 1 good teaspoon of thyme and 1 teaspoon of curry powder. All right, we're just going to stir that all in there. And it'll take the rice about 10, 12 minutes tops to cook, and then the noodles be done a little bit before that, but they'll be good. All right, the noodles and the rice been boiling for about 12, 13 minutes at the top. We'll take the lid off. And it's looking really, really good. The rice and the noodles are all done. Let's put some in this bowl here. I went ahead and took the liberty to make some grilled cheese while the noodles were cooking. Turn this off. Well, there you have Dave's easy chicken noodle soup. Once again, I'm David Thornton. I appreciate your time, I appreciate you watching, and most of all, I hope you enjoy the food. Thank you very much.